I think. Yep. Why can I never figure this out? Okay. All right. Welcome to our weekly show. My name is Rob Wormley.
I am Kelsey Jones.
And we are project managers for a company called One Social Media. And we come to you each Wednesday with our 10 to 15 minute social media tips for business show. We talk about a wide range of topics depending on what's going on in the social media world, what we think you could benefit from learning from, and what we're thinking about, and different tips that we have. So today is going to be a great show. We're talking about something that's been really popular the last few weeks,
yes,
as well as the last few months. If you've jumped on as early as some of us at the office have here, and it's all about Pinterest.
Pinterest,
Yeah, Pinterest for business. So Pinterest is kind of interesting. If you haven't heard of Pinterest before, it started as kind of like a beta closed social media site.
Back in 2010.
So, and basically how it works is you have your own profile. So it's similar to if you have a Facebook profile, but the point behind Pinterest is that you can kind of organize your hobbies, your interests, things that you want other people to know about that you have found on the internet. So you have what's called pin boards. And so if, for example, I was looking at craft beers because that's one of my hobbies, and I was on a website that was highlighting a few craft beers, and I found a craft beer that I wanted all my friends to know that I have tried and liked, I would pin that to my craft beer board on Pinterest and say, hey, just wanted you guys to know that this is a great craft beer. Check it out sometime. And that would be organized in my craft beer or beverages pin board. That's just an example, but that's kind of how Pinterest is. That
the gist of it. Yeah, and I would say a very common example to explain it as when it kind of started back in 2010 and got going a little bit, a lot of brides or brides-to-be would be on Pinterest. Now, if any of you have been brides or know brides, a lot of times while preparing for their weddings, they will put together almost like scrapbooks with little tabs that'll say, dresses, and they'll clip out pictures and, with the magazine or where they could find it, put them all into a big book that they can carry around everywhere they go. Pinterest is the digital version of a big scrapbook. So brides are able to organize flowers, dresses, hairdos, foods, reception locations, all of that. And that's kind of one of the big ways that it took off right away. But now businesses are jumping on, and it's really been one of the fastest growing social media sites in a long time, I would say.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. When I first joined Pinterest, it was a few months ago, back in 2011, and like Kelsey said, it was a lot of women using Pinterest for things like weddings or decorating homes or just doing other things like that. And so our coworker Jeremy actually convinced me to join Pinterest. He was on Pinterest, and he came to me one day and said, Rob, you got to join Pinterest. I'm trying to get more guys on Pinterest. It's a cool site. Check it out. So I joined Pinterest, and so slowly over time, more men have joined Pinterest, and with more men and women on the site, as with most social media sites, the brands, the smart ones anyways, have been pretty quick to follow and set up a presence to start interacting, because that's the coolest thing about this site. Like Kelsey says, it's kind of like your digital scrapbook, but the coolest part of this site is the interaction that you have with other people, even people that you don't know. So there's definitely a huge social aspect to this site, which is why we're talking about it on this social media show. So yeah,
let's take a look right now at some businesses and industries that are on Pinterest. So as you might as well think, a lot of B2C businesses, Pinterest is a great fit for them because it is so visual, and they can show off their products, they can show off their services, all of those types of things that their customers would want to see. So in the beginning, like I said, very visual businesses, this was the place to be. We're looking at magazines. Better Homes and Gardens has a great Pinterest page. Design companies, so people who may do interior design work, who may do any type of landscaping, they could have a Pinterest page showing some of what they have done before. Weddings, as we talked about before, also a lot of fashion type of industries and brands all over Pinterest, very popular. Another one that's kind of popped up, universities and colleges are starting to get on board with Pinterest. My alma mater, Drake University, is actually very active on Pinterest. Things that they can pin about, well, they have pin boards about different items to decorate your dorm room. They have things on city attractions around Des Moines. That's where Drake is located. And even recipe ideas. You're a college student, you've just moved into an apartment, and you need some ideas of easy things to cook. So go to Drake's Pinterest page. They've got the student in mind, and they've got the student's interests in mind when they're making their pin boards. So that's a great one.
Yeah, I've talked about this a lot on previous shows and written about this in blog posts. Social media right now it's really important to go beyond the big sites that exist. So you definitely need to have a presence on sites like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. But really, we're getting to the point where it's not enough to just be on those sites and to be happy with just being on those sites. You really have to follow where your target audience is going to and where they are spending more of their time and where the demographics that you're interested in reaching out to are. And so part of that means participating in these kind of niche sites like Pinterest and other ones that we've talked on previous shows. And so like Kelsey says, colleges is a great example because it took colleges a long time to get on Facebook, actually, I think.
I think so, too.
I mean, colleges are always a little bit slower when it comes to adopting new trends, but they're always looking to connect with future prospective students. And so luckily, Drake is a great example of a college that understands the importance of not just stopping at Facebook and Twitter and being okay with that, but connecting and continuing to find where they can connect with prospective students. So
right, and researching into what are the new ways and what are the trends that we can find our audience at, and we can sort of reel them in. And being one of the first ones on there, that's gotten them a lot of press recently as well for their Pinterest use. Another, B2Bs. You might be thinking, that's a little, how is that going to work on Pinterest? Well, there are some great B2Bs on Pinterest. We look at HubSpot, which is a online marketing company that will sell software and services to other agencies who do marketing and that type of thing. They actually have a great Pinterest page. So what are they pinning about? They have a lot of marketing infographics. That would be great value to marketing agencies who want to be able to showcase what digital marketing, traditional marketing, what's going on there. They have a whole pin board of their ebook covers. So they create a lot of ebooks. People can go to their pin board, read the different titles. They're very visual. They're pretty. Click on it, and you can download their ebooks. They also have photos and videos of customers. So maybe you have some testimonials of customers who really enjoyed your product or service. They might be another business, but you put those up on your pin board, and when people find you, they'll be quite satisfied if they are good reviews. So
we really encourage you to use Pinterest, or at least look into it. I'm just looking over our rundown of the show to make sure we got everything that we wanted to talk about. Basically, what you want to understand is that Pinterest is one of the fastest growing sites of 2012. Lots of different businesses and lots of different industries are jumping on it. And so just like Facebook, if you were late to the game with Facebook, be early to the game with Pinterest, because chances are you've finally figured it out. We want you to participate in the site, ask us questions about it. There are specific ways that you can use Pinterest strategically on your site. For example, you can make sure that things on your site are easily pinnable by people who come to visit your site. So for example, if you have a service or a product that you sell, you're going to want to make sure that you have pictures on your web pages so that somebody can come to your web page and decide that they want to showcase that product on their pin board. And so there are ways that you can do that, and we'll talk a little bit more about it on our blog, I think.
Yeah, one more tip about when you're pinning. That's what they call it, pinning to the pin boards. Make sure that you not only your images linked back to your blog, to your website, but sometimes throw in a link in the description. So if people miss the link that might be on a different part of the image, they'll throw it right in the description, and it'll be easy for them to go back. And then you also want to have a way to measure this. Set up some Google Analytics. Make it easy for you to see how much traffic you're getting from Pinterest, because as statistics have been showing, Pinterest is driving a lot of traffic, which means it's driving a lot of sales.
You know what? I think it's because it's so interesting. I mean, it's so much different than every other site out there. It's really, like I mentioned before earlier in the show, it's about the niche sites. People are interested in trying something new, something interesting that isn't...
visual. I think visual is the key here, because our world is moving not only digitally, but we're moving into a visual world where pictures, videos, visuals are the new status update.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't want to take the time to read a bunch of text.
Right.
You show them a picture, draw them in, and then maybe they'll read what's going on with that. But visuals are the way of the future.
All right, we try to keep these shows pretty short, but I want to let you know that we're going to be putting up a blog post later today that explains a little bit more about Pinterest. You can expect it, when you get home from work. Log on to onesocialmedia.com/blog and check out our post about Pinterest. I'm going to be writing a few things that you won't get on the show in the blog post, and I'm also going to include a few helpful links, one of which is going to be 100 plus brands on Pinterest from all different industries, so you can just go, because the best way to learn how to use this site is to see what other people in your industries are doing, other businesses, other brands. So I'm going to invite you to go to our blog later today, onesocialmedia.com/blog. Look for our Pinterest post. If you have any questions about Pinterest or comments, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/onesocialmedia, and leave us a comment there. We'll get back to you, or you can tweet us at onesocialmedia, all one word.
Awesome.
All right, we'll see you next week.